would like to invite the children to come up. The rest of you may please be seated. At the earlier service, I preached what was for me a very emotional sermon about Jesus sending us to do the work he did, which is to be with all of those that nobody else is caring for. Part of what Jesus sends us to do is to be forgiving people. And so I have a story I'm going to read to all of you about forgiveness. Any other kids who want to come down? When you're wrong. Okay, it's one of my very, very favorite books. And as I read it, I may have some questions for you. This book is called Where the Wild Things Are. And it's the best book about God's grace almost in the entire book. Okay, so listen up. On the night Max wore his wolf suit and did mischief of one kind and another. He's not really very loving here, is he? Yeah. His mother called him Wild Thing. And Max said, I'll eat you up. So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. Can you see his bed always better than him? So let me ask you, do you think that this is really happening? Or his imagination? Or maybe he even fell asleep and he's dreaming? Does it matter to the story if he's just dreaming it? No. And the forest grew some more. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around him. But there isn't any window anymore, is there? And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through the night and day. And in and out of weeks, and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, what did they do? Do you remember? They roared their terrible roars. What would that sound like? And they gnashed their terrible teeth. And they rolled their terrible eyes. And they showed their terrible claws. And I'm glad to say that none of you goes quite like that. Till Max said, be still, and tame them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once. And they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. And made them king of the wild things. That's quite a dream he's having, isn't it? And now, cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. So they're rumpusing. That means probably doing things your mom and dad asked you not to do, huh? And here's some more rumpusing through the trees. And here's some more ruckusing with Max with a crown, because in his imagination, he's the king of all the wild things. Now stop, Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. Why do you think he did that? But why else maybe? Yeah, he's the king. Because he got sent to bed without any supper. And Max, the king of all the wild beasts, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then, all around, from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. And so he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. I'll eat you up. I love you so." And Max said, no. The wild things roared their terrible roars, and they gnashed their terrible teeth. I think it helps to have really big pointy teeth to gnash them. And they rolled their terrible eyes, and they showed their terrible claws. Whoa, got to move back here. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. There he goes. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day. Do you remember what happened? And into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. And here comes the really big grace part. He found his supper waiting for him, and it was still hot. So what happened that his supper was there for him? Yeah, but what happened? What did his mother do that his supper was there? But what did she do then? There was a word I was looking for. She forgave him. She said, "I know you were naughty, and I know you probably didn't mean to be as naughty as you were. And yeah, you'll probably do it again. But I love you, and I forgive you." So, this is a book about his mommy forgiving him, but it's also a book for us to remember how God forgives us whenever we do something wrong. God doesn't send us to our homes without any suffering. What does God do for us? What are you all doing here in a little bit for the first time? Yeah. He invites us to the table. God feeds us. So I look forward to having all of you up here at the altar, getting fed by God and by us in just a little while. How about